Come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. Never have to cut you out like right now. You see, I don't have to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was never you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they feel strange. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip.
Welcome to the Seahawks Man to Man podcast, powered by Blue Wire. Shout out to the new company. My name is Michael Sean Dugar. You guys can follow me on whatever Elon Musk is calling that app these days. My ad name has not changed. It's also, boom, right there under my finger for people watching on YouTube at Mike Dugar. Also, speaking of YouTube, shout out to everyone who comment, subscribe, follow, repost, all the good buttons you could press on our YouTube channel, which is Seahawks Man to Man. Seahawks, the number 2 man. We appreciate you. Do the same thing on our Instagram, same thing on our TikTok. Seahawks Man to Man. Again, Seahawks Man, the number 2 man. Even if you're just an audio listener, just go over there, hit those buttons. Any post you see, just share it. I mean, it means a lot. So thank you in advance for doing that. Chris, go ahead and talk to him.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Christopher Kidd. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter at KIDD206, and that's CKid206. Be sure to follow our TikTok. So if you haven't yet, we need 8 more followers to get to 700. So why don't you help us out there? And then on Instagram, you can follow us on Seahawks Man to Man as well.
All right. And we are coming to you guys from, I'm in Atlanta. Chris back at the crib. The Seahawks put another hurting on another inferior opponent. 37-9 was the final today. Oh, great. Googly moogly. Beat up on the Falcons. Falcons are bad. The Seahawks are really good. The Seahawks were dominant in all 3 phases. Offense put up, 30? Special teams added 7 in there. Defense forced a bunch of turnovers. Man, it was another beatdown. For the second straight game, it didn't allow a touchdown. They obviously allowed points today. But we are looking at, just an elite squad in a lot of ways that we'll get into. You guys left a bunch of voicemails, asked a bunch of questions. But I really think, as much as we're going to critique some stuff too, we always will, offense, defense, maybe even special teams as well. But I think just looking around the league, I think if you're a Seahawks fan, I know you're a Seahawks fan, you have to take a moment, take a deep breath, and just appreciate that your team kicks ass. They do, for real. Like they really do. And they can do it however they really need to. The defense, they need to get the special teams advantage like they did today, or they have in some other games. The offense can just erupt as we saw it today. Offense is mostly just jacks or bust still. We'll get into that. But they have Jackson. So there you go. Scored 2 touchdowns. Outscored the Falcons by himself today. So, Jackson just scoring 2 touchdowns would be enough to have beaten the last 2 teams. So, the offense can do, it's a top 10 offense, top 3 defense, top 3 special teams. And we've seen, Chris, some iterations of the Seahawks in recent years, post-Super Bowl, that have not only just not been good in all 3 of those phases, but been pretty deficient in at least one of those, whether either we're complaining about the pass pro and the offense, or some of those Ken Norton, Clint Hurt defenses there were just really bad. And then got the grub offense. Even last year, special teams was kind of whatever. This is a complete ass-kicking Mike McDonald led operation that we haven't seen the Seahawks be this complete in a little bit. And it's fun. I'm having fun. I'm having fun watching them whip the other team's ass. And that's exactly what they did. The Falcons stink. They look like a team that stink. And the Seahawks wanted to put the exclamation point down to the goddamn last 4th and goal from the 2 or whatever to make sure, no, you guys, we're going to let you know you stink. And, I enjoy that. I feel like the Seahawks fans, they need that right now. So we should remind them, enjoy being this team. This is fun to be so much better than your opponent each and every week.
Yeah, and it wasn't a great first half, but you saw how in the second half, everything changed. They were more effective in getting after Kirk Cousins, slowing down Bijan Robinson. just everything. They just looked really good. Everybody making splash plays, spoon plays. I think his best game on Sunday against the Falcons, he just had a couple of plays where he just showed why he is who he is, why he's that dog on the field, and everyone's happy to be around him. Nicky Memori, he showed some more flashes of his brilliance on the football field. And then offensively, outside of Sam Darnold throwing the interception, he just bounces back and he goes to his number one target, which is JSN. You got Rashid Shaheed. He showed up. He actually had 4 catches for 67 yards, which is a huge plus. They're able to find him over the middle, find him in some areas, and he was able to make plays, which is nice to see. Although, yes, to Mike's point, if JSN don't play, it probably doesn't look that way. That's 2 touchdowns off the board, but it doesn't matter because he's there and he always finds a way to get open. I think you tweeted, Mike, that you can't hold him for too long because in the first half, the Falcons did a really good job of covering him. And in the second half, AJ Terrell either just got tired of guarding him because JSN was putting him through the ringer. Those crossing routes over the middle and those quick releases, oh my goodness. Off the snap, you don't want to press JSN. He is just too crafty and too smooth off the line of scrimmage to try to press him. If you don't get hands on him, it's game over. And you saw that time and time again, which is why he actually had 2 touchdowns. Now, albeit the second one was more of a scramble drill, but the biggest thing is just how this offense and this defense is coming together. Despite a slow start from that offense, the defense never wavered. They stayed true to who they were. And as you mentioned, big plays and big moments, just making sure this offense in the Atlanta Falcons did not score a single touchdown, only giving up 3 field goals. What more could you ask for? So, yeah, if you're a Seahawks fan, you should be really pumped about what you're seeing week in and week out from this team as a whole, because they are really showcasing that they are one of the top 3 teams in the NFL, not to mention maybe the best team in the NFC. The Rams are right there pushing it. So it's going to come down to that game on who probably wins this division. But right now, if you're just a Seahawks fan in general, you got to give your team a round of applause because, yeah, they're balling out right now.
Before we get into voicemails, yeah, I think looking at the big picture, it's almost I don't want to say this. It's almost depressing a little bit that like the Rams and Seahawks, one of them's gonna have to like be like the 5 seed or the 6 seed. You know, like those are like we should just simulate to the part where they meet in the NFC Championship game in like January, whatever Sunday that is. You know, because I'm not a big. We haven't talked about playoff seeding formats. I feel like on the show. And there's been a little bit of a push lately to get all these 8 and 9 teams and 7 and 9 teams to not host playoff games anymore by virtue of winning a bad division. And I think that I'm kind of coming around on this the more I've thought about it. I think that the number 1 team, if you win your division, you should be guaranteed a spot, not a home game. But you should be guaranteed something because divisions still matter. And they make up a good chunk of the schedule for each team. So, but yeah, I'm looking at the NFC right now, like, yeah, the Seahawks, as good as they're playing, they're the 5 right now, which is crazy. Like this complete team that's super good is the 5. You know, it's right now as we're recording. The Eagles play Monday night, but right now it's Rams, Packers, Eagles at 8 and 4 for now. Bucks at 7 and 6. Seahawks at 10 and 3, 5 seed, and then the Niners are finally off. They got the latest bye ever at 9 and 4. Bears fell to 9 and 4. Panthers at 7 and 6, not too far. They're tied with the Bucks, and then the Lions are 8 and 5. They're the 8 seed, but they're right there in the NFC North. So man, it's crazy how good they're playing, how good the Rams are playing, as good as the Packers are playing too. But I do think there's a little bit of a tier jump there between the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Packers. But man, it's crazy that one of those teams is going to have to go on the road, and one of the teams is going to get home field. It really just the closer we get to the closer we get to week is that they're going to play each other again? 16? Yeah, week 16. Yep. The closer we get to week 16, it just feels, oh my God, that's like the biggest game in years. That game is shaping up to be. I'm already kind of looking past the Colts, as you guys can tell, because
Daniel Jones.
Apparently, Daniel Jones just popped his joint. I feel bad for him, but Riley Leonard, not worried. It's just, yeah, it's a shame. But yeah, the Seahawks are as good as any team in the NFL. They really. I'm looking at the AFC right now. The Chiefs and Texans are playing behind me right now, but I mean, I feel very good about Seahawks against Patriots, Broncos. I mean, yeah, it's a good squad. It's a good squad. I just had to put that out there. That yeah, the Seahawks. It's crazy, Chris, that they really are like to get where they want to be. It's not just enough to just get in. they really need to win out. It feels
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they really got to win. The Niners are look at the schedule real fast before we get to questions. I just tweeted this too, but so the Seahawks last 4 games, and I hadn't looked at everyone's schedule at once. This is fascinating. So the Seahawks last 4 games are they host the Colts, they're the host the Rams on Thursday night. That's their last home game. And they're on the road in Carolina, on the road Niners. The Rams next 4, Detroit at home, which should be a battle. And then, but you get that Matt Stafford versus the Lions bump. Obviously they're coming to Seattle. Then they're at the Falcons. They're broken. The Falcons might not even have their head coach by then. They at the very least shouldn't have their special teams coordinator anymore. Then they're hosting the lowly Cardinals, who also might just be fired, dead man walking with their head coach. And then the Niners, final 4 games coming out of the bye for the Niners: home against the Titans, at the Colts, home against the Bears, and then home against the Seahawks. So 3 of 4 at home for the Niners. I mean, Chris, that's a war. Like the Seahawks legitimately can to get where they want to go. They basically can't afford to lose. And the good news is they're playing like it. They're playing like, hey, we have to win every game to be who we want to be. And I can appreciate that. It doesn't. I really don't think we'll see anything like the end of that Titans game where it was like, yo, how come they can't get off the field? They legitimately they were so pissed about that game that they haven't given up a touchdown since. Like that's crazy. It's just like, yeah, no, we're so mad we let Cam Ward score. We're just like, no, we're not letting anybody else score. It's just fascinating stuff. I mean, really, it's. I would hopefully the Seahawks can get the one because they've earned. They're playing well enough to be the top seed in the NFC.
Well, Mike mentioned some voicemails. We got a bunch tonight, so we're gonna get to all of them. Let's start with our first one here.
Hey guys, this is Zach from Columbus, Ohio. What is really stopping us from a Super Bowl run? And I also want to let you guys know that you guys are my #1 podcast on Spotify Wraps, and that I love you guys, and it's been awesome listening to you, and let's go Seahawks.
Oh man, that just means everything, man. I'm glad Spotify and Apple and all these platforms do that whole year and wrap up thing. So really appreciate you guys. Anyone who we're #1, #2, #12, doesn't matter. If you listen once, twice, or 20 times, it means the world. Okay, I just sang the Seahawks praises, Chris, but I feel like the answer to the question, what will stop us? It feels really mean to say this, but I feel like it's Sam.
Nah,
I feel like if there's something that's gonna hold them back, it's 14.
I will say this. I will say this. In a Super Bowl, when you're going up against another really good football team, if your quarterback is creating turnovers for your offense, I don't know that the defense is capable enough to hold an elite offense from scoring inside their own 20. Let's just say let's say the Seahawks versus the Buffalo Bills. What's your confidence level that if Sam fumbles the football, throws an interception, and the Buffalo Bills get it at their 17, get at the Seahawks 17 in the red zone, can they hold that offense to just 3 or create a turnover? I'd probably put it at a 5. I just need to see it, right? And a good example would be the Rams because they have an elite offense. They've shown it. If Sam has a game where he's, let's say, an interception here or there, can the Seahawks hold them off? That'll be a great test for them. I don't want Sam to throw interceptions, but at this point, he's turning the football over every week, whether it's a fumble, an interception. So at this point, it's kind of just, you can no longer say, hey, Sam, take care of the football. I guess you kind of maybe expect it, which is unfortunate for him, but he's had a turnover every week, if I'm not mistaken, for the last month. At least one, whether it's a fumble or an interception.
He didn't. Did he? Did he turn it over against not the Titans? I think he protected it against them.
You might be right.
Yeah, because that was a big deal coming out of that Rams game. It was like, hey, can he?
And yeah, that's right. He did bounce back. So the last if math serves me right, that's the last 2 games.
I'll pull up his game log, but go ahead.
But the thing is, that's got to be the concern because it's not a team situation. I think, Mike, you hinted on that early on in the season when he was turning the football over. You said, to be honest, it's not a Seahawk problem. It's literally just a Sam problem. And that problem is still showing. The play today, I get why he made it because he's made that throw 20 times this season. Rolling to his left, throwing it across his body. JSN makes a play, you name it. Only problem is it wasn't JSN, it was Elijah Arroyo, and it didn't work out. Ball got batted in the air. He also didn't throw it ahead of him like he probably wanted to. that's a situation where, you know what, KYP, know your personnel. If it ain't JSN, don't force it. That's kind of what I took from it. But again, Sam just has to be much better in managing the game and taking care of that football. And I'm sure they're going to drill that on him. But man, to have turnovers week in and week out, it feels like. I know, Mike, you look at the game log and you'll have more insight on how many turnovers he's had in the last 2-3 games, but that's just not a good look. Thank goodness they're going up against bad football teams, but against good offenses, I think that could really come back and bite them because you're putting the defense out to dry. And luckily, the defense just creating turnovers, whether it's Jay Reed, whether it's Nicky Mawari, Spoon, you name it. These guys are just making plays. But at what point do they run against a team that's just as elite and has really good players, and you can't get those fumbles? You don't get those interceptions. So that's one thing to think about.
Yeah, so Sam he had 4 against the Rams. It was clean against the Titans, mostly because the Titans can't catch. And then lost a fumble against the Vikings, and lost 2 fumbles. Fumbled twice, but lost 1 against the Vikings. And then threw a pick today. Sam has 16 on the year. I think one of those is the aborted snap with Olu. So technically that goes to the quarterback. But I mean, at this point in the year, the sample size is so large that every quarterback probably has like one of those. Like, that's not skewing the number, I guess, is the point of what I want to say. And then let me see turnover rate. Sam is back to he's second now. Sam is second in turnover rate. At least he got passed by JJ McCarthy because JJ McCarthy returned to action. He must have turned it over today. I haven't seen that box score. But yeah, I think it's not even that like Sam's the weak link per se. It really is just a ball security thing. I really think that if Sam goes through the playoffs without a turnover, they go to the Super Bowl. I think so. I think that's like that's all that needs to happen. Because clearly, when he's not turning over, he's excellent. So I'll put it this way. Look at this. I was going to tweet this earlier, but I didn't know how to make it come across. So maybe it'll work on the pod better. So Sam, like I said, second in the league in turnover rate. That's bad. Right? And in raw turnovers, he is oh damn. He leads the league. Oh, that's rough. I didn't know that. So he leads the league in turnovers, leads second in the league in turnover rate. Okay, comma. However, Sam is, because I'm gonna look up his dropback EPA, which, as you guys, my fellow nerds on here, you guys know that's an efficiency metric. It's basically like QBR, not pass rating. Pass rating only factors in a few things. Dropback EPA factors in scrambles and stuff like that too. So dropback EPA, Sam is 9th. Right. So that's despite leading the league in turnovers and second in turnover rate. And that's important to contrast the two, because that's like, okay, what are you doing when you're not turning it over? For instance, you could look at a guy like Gino, who is 31st in dropback EPA and like 4th in turnovers, something like that. So also when he's not turning it over, Gino, that is, he's also just not doing anything good. Right? Like, he's having a very bad year. Same thing with like Tua, who's also has a high turnover rate, but even when he's not turning it over, he's not doing great stuff because he's only 24th in EPA. Now contrast that again back to Sam. Sam's 9th. So when Sam is not, that's 9th despite the turnovers. That means that when he's not turning it over, he's like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So that's why I really think that if he just don't throw picks and don't lose fumbles, they'll go to Super Bowl. I really do. I believe that to be the case. Now, they won't just blow everyone out. They're gonna have some really, really tough games. Defense gonna have to play great. Jason Myers has to be nails. In all facets. That means not kicking the ball, not in the what's it called? The something zone. Whatever the zone. The return zone, whatever that's called. Jason's got to make sure he always kicks it there, because that's a big part of special teams too. It's a huge swing. So there's a lot that's got to happen for them to go there. But I really feel like you ask us, hey, why can't we go? The answer is because 14 turned the ball over too many times, or just once.
Landing zone.
Yes. So yeah, I think that's why. Again, he's not playing bad, but that is when you watch the Seahawks, that does feel like the Achilles heel is just turnovers by 14.
Hey guys, so I was wondering if you are worried the Seahawks might become one of those one and done team in the playoffs, like we've seen the film before. Like one unit of the team is very, very good, like our defense, but then the quarterback is maybe not the best, and just one good receiver that you can really rely on. And so then those teams get exploited by another very good team that maybe doesn't have one big weakness. I was just wondering how you guys are afraid of that scenario. Thanks, and big love from Germany, Torsten.
Whoa, Germany. I was listening. I was like, where is this accent from? It's Germany.
So I
All
got
right.
Thorsten.
Appreciate that love from Deutschland. Hopefully that sounded okay. My accent, that is, sounded okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Chris. Afraid is probably not the word, but it's plausible. Here's the thing, though. I do think that scenario you outlined in the question is like, all right, what if Sam just doesn't have it that day? Which is again is possible. Just like let's plan this out. Let's map it out. Let's see. The Panthers and the Bucks, I think, play each other again. Right? There's a reason I'm bringing that up. Yeah. So the Panthers and Bucks play each other twice over the next month. So one of those teams is going to be the 4 most likely, and then let's say the Seahawks have to play them as the 5. Right? Let's say they do that. I'm not worried about. I think the margin for error is high in those games, even against the Bucks. I think the Bucks are going the very wrong way. Like as good as the Seahawks and Rams are playing, in terms of like top of the NFC, I think the Eagles, Bucks, are teams that are playoff teams that are going the wrong way. We'll see. That maybe that ages poorly. Maybe the Eagles put a hurting on the Chargers, but for now, I feel like they're going the wrong way. If the Seahawks were to go to Carolina or go to Tampa, I think that Sam could have like 3 turnovers, and it probably wouldn't matter. I have a hard time seeing either of those teams scoring 20 points on the Seahawks. I just do. I think that this defense is, especially healthy right now, this defense is just playing really, really, really good ball. So I'm not too worried about it if like that's their first game. Now, if their second game, let's see, Chris, let's map this out. Let's see this. Let's say they have to play. They're the 5 seed and all the top seeds win. So that means they're the lowest and they play the number 1. They got to go to LA. That's what I think. We've seen that scenario already. We've seen like, all right, Sam don't got it that day. They can lose. Despite having a really good receiver, good defense, special teams, all that stuff. But on the flip side, though, I feel like, yeah, I mean, even in the second round, let's say they're hosting the Rams, or they're hosting the Niners or something like that. Yeah, we're looking at the same scenario. So I don't think, I guess, short version is that means that they're the 1 seed, I guess, in those second scenarios. I'm not too worried about it because in that first round, I do feel like first round, if they're in the first round, they'd be straight going to the NFC South winner. Even if they were the 2 seed, I might even feel good about them, depending on how Week 18 goes against the Niners, Bears, Lions. If they sneak in, something like that is like against the 7. Like if they're the 2 and had to play the 7, I think I'd feel okay. But everything after that, I feel like, yeah, man, that the margin for error, you guys can't see, but like the margin for error, like for people watching, it's real big in that first round, I think, and then it immediately gets microscopic. You just really can't afford some of these like slow starts or just questionable stuff, like, or being too JSN reliant. I'm worried about it in the second, I guess, Chris, is the short version of my answer there.
I think that's fair. Yeah, because I don't think if they go to any of those teams you mentioned, whether it be the Panthers or Bucks, Sam could have 4 turnovers and they'll win the game. The defense special teams defense, they're just too good. They're just too good on other facets of the game where they can get points, which is crazy to say because you don't really see that week in and week out. But here the Seahawks are just beating teams' ass and finding new ways. Oh, we'll get a kick return for a touchdown. Oh, we'll just get a pick 6. Not they did this game, but you get my point. Like every week it's something. Oh, they can do that too. It'd be nice to see K9 run through the end zone, but I don't know if we'll get to that point. There's 4 weeks left. My goodness, can he get a touchdown? So anywho, that's just, I know Mike is a fantasy owner, so I know he's really not happy about that. But as Mike would always say, y'all don't care about my fantasy team. Anywho, we'll get to our next voicemail.
And Chris, shout out the Seahawks Man to Man podcast. This is Marcus calling from Florida. I'm a longtime listener, native of the Pacific Northwest, but moved to Florida forever ago. Anyway, at what point, in your guys' opinion, is it safe to let my guard down? You know, the last half decade of Pete Ball has made me a natural born pessimist, afraid to be hurt, giving emotional stock to the state of the team. But I'm looking at what happened today against Atlanta, really ugly, gritty first half, but clearly made some adjustments and stuck to the plan and came out and went belt pass, as Chris would say. I'm looking at this team thinking if they run the table and especially if they manage to pull off NFC top seed, at what point do I just let myself give in to the hopes of another Super Bowl? Because I think I'm ready to be hurt again, but I'm curious about where you guys are at. Anyway, appreciate y'all. Love the pod, and keep up the good work.
I appreciate the love from Florida. I mean, yeah, I think it really is the Rams game. It really is. It just feels like that's the test there. Mostly, honestly, I think the defense will play well. If they don't, we'll have problems. We'll discuss it then. But really, it just feels like a test for the offense in general. Not to put it all on Sam, but it just feels like that's what happens when you throw 4 picks in the biggest game at the time. Is now everyone's just looking like that's going to be the whole thing. Especially if they just steamroll the Colts, which I expect them to. I expected them to, even with Daniel Jones, for what that's worth. That Colts team is another team trending the wrong way. Even with their quarterback healthy now, it's a really #over. In Indy, that's bad. Yeah, it really is. That's the game. That's like the biggest game since what we got? Yeah, 2019 finale against the Niners at home when Marshawn came back and Jacob Hollister got stuffed at the 1 and the Niners won and got the 1 seed, went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's just that. And it really feels like, as crazy as it is to say, like almost like career defining for Sam. Because if he lays another egg in that, it's just that. Then you got to worry if it's upstairs, not even a talent thing. For what it's worth, I do think he'll play better in that game. But yeah, that's it. It feels like it. Chris is you take it to the Rams at the crib. That game's also going to be on prime time. That just has a different emotional lift. It's also. Well, I guess it's the regular season home finale. So you're not guaranteed to come back there. So you've got to go into that game like this is it. This is the last time our fans are going to see us. We got to give them a show. If they can handle business there, I will feel like, yeah. If you're a Seahawks fan, that's when you get online. You go to Delta, Alaska, whoever, American, and you find tickets. Go book your rental car down to Santa Clara. That's the day. You probably get it a little cheaper too if you just start right there. Like that's the day I would say you do that because the Rams are good, y'all. I don't know how much you guys watch them or look at any numbers, but put it this way: pretty much every number the Seahawks are good at, the Rams are also good at. Like Stafford's efficiency, their receiving game is more balanced because they can throw to Devontae and Puka. They get their tight, like Colby Parkinson looks like Jimmy Graham. Catching the ball now, like it. They can run the ball better than the Seahawks can actually, because they got 2 guys who they feed it to and run it pretty well. They're good red zone offense. Their defense is just as good as the Seahawks defense. Special teams getting a lot better too. Like they are just as complete. So you got to beat them. Like I don't even think Chris they can like just hang with them and it's like all right if we get them a 3rd time in the playoffs we'll beat them. No. You got to go beat the Rams at the crib. And I feel like once you do that, we will open the show scrolling through Delta and Alaska and telling you guys which flights to book for the Super Bowl because that'll be the day.
Hey, Mike and Chris, love the show. I'm actually, full disclosure, my name is Tyler. I'm from Kellogg, Iowa. I'm actually a 49ers fan. I still sleep on a little 49ers pillow, but I'm a little bit worried about you guys this year. You're kind of coming up on us, and I just want to hear your thoughts on how good do you feel that you have Sam Darnold as your quarterback for $30 million a year when I'm sitting here with Purdy at 55 plus. I'm a little discouraged by his performance, and I think you guys might have got the better end of that deal. Thanks for your work. Love the show.
Appreciate it. I got a fan of another team. Here, Chris, I'm going to flip this question a little bit. Let's do this exercise. Scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to name a quarterback in the NFC West, and you're going to tell me how much you trust them.
Oh, on a scale of 1 to what? 1 to 5?
You want to do 5 or 10? It's up to you because I'm going to be the one to answer. All right, 5. Cool. All right.
And trust them as in terms of just overall playing?
No. You're right. Trust them to play good enough to win multiple playoff games.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, there we go. So not like you threw for you was all right, but the defense, but also they don't have to be the carry of the team. Just play good enough to win. However,
Game
however you
managers.
got,
There you go.
yeah, not even sure. Let's go with that. Just play good enough to win. Like, don't be the reason they lose. Multiple playoff games too, not just one. All right, let's go through. We'll just go through the teams that are already in. Let's start with Caleb Williams, 1 to 5.
2.5.
2.5. All right. Brock Purdy.
4.
Baker Mayfield.
3.
Jalen Hurts.
4.
Jordan Love.
3.5.
Matthew Stafford.
5.
And Sam Darnold.
3.5.
I feel like that's so. I should have wrote all that down. I guess you were recording it, so it's fine. I
can go back. Who are some where you were like, my guess is you probably disagree with me on Baker because I know you're a big Baker guy, but at this point it'd be.
I am generally a big Baker guy, yes. However, if his first game was against the Seahawks, I don't think he'll play 2 playoff games. So, I just think the Seahawks defense playing that well. No, I think I'm with you across the. I mean, Hurts is a tricky one just because
I just look at his Super Bowl. He's already done it. Like the team dared him to throw, and he was able to do so. So I think when his back's against the wall, he's going to figure it out, regardless of AJ Brown and him beefing. However you want to look at it, I just think from that standpoint, he'll figure it out, which is why I gave him a 4. Maybe it's
he's winner.
That's kind of my thought process. He's proven. They said you couldn't throw the football. He throws a bunch of touchdowns in the championship in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. There you go.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I think what's fascinating about that list in those rankings, and I think let's see, there's no one. Caleb's the only guy I believe that on that list that's on a rookie deal. To the point about the contracts, which was in the question. So I mean, you got a lot of guys making a lot of money. You got the $50 million guys, the 40 million. Like Love's making a lot of money, Hurts making a bunch of money, Stafford making a bunch of money. Baker's not making a ton of money, but he's not on a rookie deal. But I mean, I really think that is what matters more than anything than his cost. Like whether your quarterback's on a rookie deal, whether he's for 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, it really is just about how much do you trust them. And I'm with you on trusting Purdy a lot. And that's the thing that Sam's still trying to prove. Whether Sam was on a rookie deal, whether he was making Daniel Jones money, which I think is like 14 million or something, maybe it doesn't really make you feel better on game day when they, if they don't show up. Oh yeah, he didn't. Like if the Bears, like if Caleb is just buns in their first playoff game, like, well, we're only paying them this. Well, no, bro, they're trying to go win. Trying to win. Cap space has never thrown a touchdown in the playoffs. Like that. It's just a fact. You got to go win. Like when the Seahawks needed the Seahawks thing was fun because it was because Russ was cheap, but it was also because Russ was playing well. That's what made it great. So yeah, the Seahawks maybe have like what'd you have for Jordan Love?
3.5.
And then is that the same for Sam? Or is that 3?
Yeah. Sam is 3.5 as well.
Yeah, so you got like the third most trustworthy guy in the playoffs there. But maybe not much as Purdy. Purdy's also proven too. I know it's not a Niners pod, but you guys take a second there. Go look at Purdy's playoff numbers. Go just watch a replay of the game. Like Purdy plays pretty well in the playoffs, actually. Got really good numbers. Protects the ball as well. So yeah, I mean, I feel okay about Sam. I'm with you, Chris. Feel better about other guys in the playoffs, but Sam can show a lot to both of us, I think, in week 16. He can. He showed a lot today, too. He some good passes today, too.
Yeah, not to mention, after throwing the interception, he goes right back out there, figures it out, plays a fine game, finds his number one guy, obviously, with that. And that's what you want to see from him, resiliency. You don't want to see a guy get in his own head. But, again, this is against a defense that isn't all that. They did get some pressure on him and sacked him a few times in the first half. But after that, he was smooth sailing. So it's really about stacking plays now. They're not stacking wins anymore. They're trying to stack plays, they're getting deeper into it now. It was before stacking these wins. Now you're in win mode. You got to stack play after play and just be better. I know, Mike, you talked about it last week on the giving up a big play, a negative play, and then trying to get some positives after that, whether it be Leonard Williams getting the tackle for loss, just seeing that through the game and watching it through that lens of like, oh, they gave up a big play here. How do they negate that now? What do they do on this second down to try to get that ball back or make it tougher for this offense? By the way, if I'm not mistaken, they held the Falcons to like 1 of 11 on third down, just made hell for them. Yeah, and then also coming into the game, the Falcons are one of the best teams in the red zone since Kirk Cousins has taken over. Red zone trips today against the Seahawks on Sunday didn't go so well. They ended up with 3 points every single time. So just another nod to that defense and what they're doing. So just want to show some love there before we get to we got a couple more voicemails. So we'll get to our 5th one right here. Mike, I see that hand on the chin. You got some numbers for me already?
No, I did not just realize they were 1 of 13 on third down. That's pretty bad. 1 third down conversion all day. Jesus Christ, the Falcons stink.
What's going on? It's your boy Carlo Coleman. Because we all over the map with it tonight, we're calling for about 30 minutes south of Champaign, Illinois, in Tuscola. The fact that Shaheed would get a return touchdown before he got a receiving touchdown. Wild, but it happened. Also got the first forward pass of more than 10 yards this evening to him, so love to see that. 2 of them things for you, though. 1, we're paying Tariq, right? We got to take a page out of the Eagles' financial department book. I don't see how we're going to break this team up. Secondly, these are definitely some first-world football problems, but with these huge blowouts, why are we not putting Milroe in the game to see what can happen and what developments? But if we're up 30 points in the 4th, what is the point of putting Drew Lock in the game? I appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate you, Carlo. Let's see. Yeah, Chris, first off, shout out to Shaheed for making an impact. It's about, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like us spending time on that during the week. Like you talked about it, we showed some film. You talked about it. I wrote about it. He has his best game. Just saying, we deserve some credit too. You know, I mean, hey, it's just, is it a coincidence? Maybe. Was it the Seahawks Man-to-Man podcast? Maybe not. But yeah, kick return was crazy. Behind the scenes nugget, I was actually signing a book during that on the concourse. Missed the whole thing. Didn't see it. Didn't see it live. I came up the stairs. I was like, the Falcons got the ball. That's what I was thinking. I was like, the Falcons had the ball because I saw Nick punch on Kyle Pitts' helmet. So I was like, did Sam turn it over again? I was like, how did the Falcons get? I knew the Seahawks had it coming out. How the Falcons get the ball? And then I looked at my phone. I was like, oh, Shaheed ran one back. All right, let me tweet that. Go back to my seat. Start the Reek question. Oh, man. 1, Chris, I feel like they're out to get Reek. They being the refs. Because I'm not trying to be like, you know how kids be like, well, he did it, so how come I'm getting in trouble for doing it? But at the same time, I don't know how you can let Spoon just taunt Kyle Pitts and then Reek taunts Kyle Pitts. He gets a flag. I'm like, come on now. That's not fair. But also, I think, what do you think about this, Chris? You come to Reek, you say, hey, I give you 3 years, $48 million, 16 a year. We work out the guarantees and stuff later. If you're Reek's agent, you taking it, or you're gonna see what else is out there? You can get real number 1 cornerback money.
I think if Reek is all about growing with his team and seeing the vision to win not 1 but 2 championships, if not more, he can definitely be a part of that. But if he's willing to go out there and risk it and try to get more money, which I am not mad at, you get as much money as you can in this sport before you get banged up and you get older, whatever the case may be. But I think he should probably just stay. He's learned so much under Mike McDonald. I think he's become a better player. I think the team realizes how elite he is. And I think just another year with Mike McDonald only makes him that much better. Not saying that if he goes somewhere else, he just won't be the same guy. But I think how they're coaching him and how they're using him is very effective. And you're seeing it, right? I know from week 1 to now, it's been a wild season for him. But he has managed the storm, and he's playing some really good football right now. And yeah, he can make all the money in the world by leaving, but I think he's in a really good situation because everything is really fun when you're winning, right? Go ask Myles Garrett. My man got the bag. That man's making money left and right easy, but his team is ass. They just lost to the Titans on Sunday. So when you put that in perspective, yeah, it's cool for Tariq to go out there and chase a nice check. But what if he ends up with a really bad team? Is he still going to be happy? Yeah, I'm making the most money as a corner, but man, my team is bad. That's something to think about. Would you be willing to sacrifice team success for that check? Or are you willing to say, you know what? I can make 16 a year. That's not terrible at all. I might not be paid as the highest corner in the league, but I know what my value is to this team.
Do you want to know where that ranks in corners, by the way?
I'd probably put him at like, he's 17th if I had to guess.
Outside the top 20.
Okay.
Outside the top 20. That would be lower than Christian Benford, who got paid the Bills paid him. That would be lower than him. He's in Reek's draft class. But just so you know where that number would rank and why I picked it.
Yeah, that's one of those situations where you got to weigh it all out, and it's easy to go and chase the check because you're gonna make a lot of money, but I think situation plays a role too, and I think Reek will heavily consider that. Assuming that the Seahawks have a deep run this playoff season or this season in the playoffs. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. What are your thoughts on it?
I would hope that he would take something like that. Because I would like to watch him stick around, but I don't even know if the Seahawks would offer that. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to me that because you notice they're still rotating him and Job.
Yep.
By the way,
I noticed. Yep.
They're doing about pretty much Job gets 2 snaps, or excuse me, 2 series. Then Rick gets 2 series, and it kind of rotates, and then they both play when they're in dime. But so that, in effect, Job is still over him. So that's your number 3 corner. So I don't even think they'd get to the point of offering that, especially like I feel very confident that they'll have to offer Kobe something big. Kobe's a great player. So you got Kobe. This is the offseason that you pay Charles. You don't have to pay Jax or Spoon this offseason. You can delay that a little bit, which even if they do that, you got to pay to keep Job if you want Job. So, I mean, yeah, I think that there'll be, unless Reek wants to take a real fat discount, and this is just me speculating. I've talked to no agents or no front office people today. But that's just me speculating that, yeah, I mean, if you already think you're getting better ball from Job, I think his market wouldn't be as robust as Reek's. I think Reek hits the open market and he's going to have better than top 20 money on the table. I'm looking at like some of these corners here. Let me pull up the corner list again. I had it up when I asked you that. Yeah, I mean, like you're looking, here's some guys who make 19 million. Jalen Johnson of the Bears, L'Jarius Sneed, Tyson Campbell, Trevon Diggs, Marshawn Lattimore, Marlon Humphrey. Like, I mean, AJ Terrell was getting barbecued today by Jackson Smith and Jigba. He makes $20 million a year. Like, Deron Bland makes $22 million a year. Like, it's just, if I'm Reek's guy, I'm his agent. I'm like, dog, you see what my client is doing? Right, hit the market. Go get this bag. It's the only chance we're gonna get this bag. And if you're the Seahawks, it's like, that's cool. And they call Josh Job's agent, FaceTime him real fast, and we can probably get somewhere play for half the price. Now, if I'm the Seahawks, that's what I'm thinking. And the last part of that question, what was I going to say? Unless Reek makes like the game-winning catch in the interception, the NFC title game or something like that, then you just write him a blank check. And if you don't, the Seahawks are stupid. But as for, I'm with Carlo on the Jalen Milroe thing, by the way. Like he's not active because of the numbers. You got to have somebody inactive each week, or you got to have a certain number of guys inactive each week, and you got to fill out your roster, special teams guys, backups, blah, blah, blah. And if you got guys hurt, that messes with the numbers. We don't have to get in the full roster breakdown, however, I see no value in these Drew Lock snaps, particularly if Drew's just going to hand it off, like for real. Because here's what the Seahawks are probably thinking, to be honest with you, Carlo, and everyone else who's wondering. They're probably like, hey, look, we're giving Drew backup money. He could probably make more somewhere else. He could probably go fight for a starting job if he signs with like New Orleans or some other teams, but he's coming here to be our backup, knows he's not going to play, knows we're not really giving him a chance to compete to play. We drafted a quarterback. We're going to do Drew a solid. If we're getting blown out or blowing the other team out, he can come in and do his thing. That's cool. It's good organizational mojo to be known to be doing veteran guys solid. That's great. That helps you when guys want to choose you over other organizations. That said, you drafted Jalen for a reason. You need to play him because you can actually run real offense with Jalen and no one to get mad, not even the other coach. You put Drew in and start bombing it away. That's how the coach goes up and slaps Mike McDonald in the chin at half or at the midfield handshake. You put Jalen in, you run your regular offense. Like, well, okay, that makes sense. Like they're trying to get their rook a look. That makes sense. So yeah, I think it's a big waste of time. I get them doing Drew a solid. But yeah, in these instances where you're getting Drew a series, a couple series, put Jalen in the game and run some real plays. None of that nonsense they were doing earlier in the year. So to Kubiak's credit, Chris, he stopped doing that. He stopped the Jalen Milrow stuff. I'm glad
quickly.
he did.
I'm with you, man. That was rough. That was rough. But I'm glad he did stop doing that. Now the Seahawks are blowing out teams, yeah. Let Milrow see what he can do with a defense out there, with a real NFL defense, with some ones and twos. Give him an opportunity. So we'll see if the Seahawks blow out the Colts. Maybe he gets some ops. Who knows?
He should.
Here's our last voicemail, though.
What's up, fellas? Big win today. This is Chris Sleeper in Everett, by the way. One thing I wanted to ask is it seems like ever since we've lost some special teams guys in that Titans game, the coverage teams, especially on kickoff, have been pretty leaky. How concerned are you about that going forward? Thanks, fellas. As always, have a good one.
Good question. Their special teams overall are good. I think the return units were a little bit shaky there, but they've come down a little bit. Are they overall for the season? I'm not actually too worried. I'm looking at their kick return yardage. They're a top 10 team on opponent kick return yardage. The Falcons are by far the worst. Oh, poor Falcons. That's just really bad. Punt return. Wow, why are they so bad? Did they give a punt return? They gave a punt return touchdown. That's why. Second worst punt return unit by yardage. That's a little weird. I feel like that'll what's the word I want to use? Balance back out. But yeah, right now it's pretty bad. Kickoff is the one that I feel like is the most I'm paying attention to a little bit the most because the numbers feel a little realer, I guess. Because you give it one touchdown, it gets a little funky. But yeah, I mean. No, I'm not as worried, especially as the defense gets healthier. And now they're putting more regulars out there. Like once Julian's back in the lineup full time, now you're talking about, okay, now Ty Okada's on there. Now Tyrese Knight, they're full time because your linebackers are healthy. Patrick O'Connell, now the D line's a little healthier. Maybe Mike Morris, and Mike Morris already on there, but you just get more of those guys where you're not using guys on defense on special teams as well. I mean, like last week, I think like Kobe played special teams. I watched the snaps because I wanted to see what happened to Quandre, who got hurt on special teams. So yeah, I'm not as worried about it just because I feel like now once they're healthier, they don't have to mix and match as much anymore. Because yeah, Chris, in that Titans game, they were already down starters. No Julian, no Ernest. I think no Tyrese in that game, maybe because of the concussion. And then they lost George Halani, and they lost like one other player. So then it was like, okay, now we're down. Well, then the Titans ran a punt back. That makes sense, though. You have to pull the bodies from somewhere. Now I feel like they don't have to pull the bodies from as vital as spots. And as long as they do that, the special teams will be okay. Again, on the year for the special teams as a whole, the Seahawks and special teams EPA are one of the best teams in the league. They are currently third behind the Jets and Niners. So I mean, it's good, and the Jets are really good special teams randomly. So like to be up there with the Jets actually does mean something. It's like the one stat you're okay with being around the Jets. The Jets are trash. Somehow beat the Falcons. But yeah, I'm not too worried about special teams. Fair question though, because they were leaky there for a sec.
Let's spin it to our questions via Blue Sky and Twitter. We'll start with Column. Was Sunday's game versus the Falcons Nick Emmanwori's breakout game?
Good question. I mean, maybe statistically, I think that'll be good. Like if he gets, is there a rookie of the week? This is a rookie of the week, right? Or is it just rookie of the month?
Rookie of the month, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so no rookie of the week. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is good going towards that. Nick had a really good. Let's talk about Nick's game for a second here. So Nick had just a really impactful game, and not just
actually. Sorry, Mike. There is a Rookie of the Week award.
There is? Okay.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels holds the record for most awards, earning 11 of them during his rookie season. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So let's. He should probably win that. So there we go. That's good. But yeah, Nick had a really good game. I think he had like 6 tackles, a couple TFLs. his second sack of the year. The pick was a little fortunate, but I mean, it's good play. I thought like his team, for instance, I think we talked about this too last week on One Big Thing. It shows the difference between like who gets the splash play and what actually made the play. Nick's interception, for instance, is a spoon highlight to me. Like that's a great spoon play, and Nick just like doing, oh, there's the ball, let me catch it, which is good. You're supposed to do that, but like that's a spoon highlight to me. Whereas Nick's TFL, and I saw that they showed the slow mo of that on the broadcast. He just basically lifts up Tyler Algier, that's like shoots the gap. That's a Nick highlight. That's real deal. Like you feel the other guy, the defense's impact. Like I thought that was a really good play from Nick. I thought his sack was incredible. It's a free rush, but the way he was able to bend at the end of the rep, use his inside arm to get the hand on the ball. I mean, Kirk Cousins don't move anyway. But even if he did want to move, that's just good technique. That's just great pass rush technique. That's you can tell that's the stuff you do like when you've been practicing for months as a pass rusher. Like he's not doing that his first pass rush rep in September. He's just not. He's doing that in December. You can see the work put. I've watched enough pass rushers now and enough blitzers to be like, okay, he's been working on this. That was really good. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Nick played outstanding. I thought even beyond the pick. Let's say the pick didn't happen. I just thought Nick had a good game. And then Chris, I mean, he's so long and fast. You see him block that kick?
Man, that was incredible.
That was outstanding. That might be some of the most athletic stuff I didn't see. It's like a cat pouncing. Oh my God, that was incredible. I think we definitely saw the most impactful Nick game today for sure.
Staying with Nick Emimore, we have a few people that are curious about him being a legit Defensive Rookie of the Year candidate. So they got one from Lemon Cake 9000, Ease World, and even Holly mentioned it as well. So we got 3 to 4 people that are interested. Could he be a Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year type player?
Yeah, I think we got access before, and I mentioned he's going to have more splash plays because while I am looking at like down to down dominance from players, voters probably aren't. You're just not watching. You know, like how, for instance, if you're a voter this year, I'm not a voter, by the way. You're probably just looking at some stats, like, oh, look up and say, wow, this Carson Schlesinger linebacker, I may be botching his last name, I'm sorry. But the middle linebacker from the Browns have a good defense, allegedly, because I saw that Titans score. But they have a really good defense. This kid has like 100 tackles, you know, a lot of splash plays, a couple sacks, a couple picks. Like on paper, it looks great. Then I'm looking at Nick. I'm like, okay, his splash plays are getting up there now. Nick actually is. So True Media has I don't know if we've discussed this, but True Media has a splash plays thing stat. And it's basically, okay, here's everything that it affects. Sacks, TFL, a pressure that leads to a throwaway, run or pass stuffs. Stuff is basically a tackle for 0 yards. Interceptions, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, passes defensed and batted, and a stop on 3rd down or 4th down. So that last one I think is important because, for instance, that's that call that Spoon got, or excuse me, that he didn't get taunted for that I mentioned earlier. That's a splash play because it gets your team off the field on 3rd down. So like that, those are factored in too. So on splash plays, Nick's right there at 23 behind Carson's at 31. Now, obviously, this Carson kid, he's middle linebacker, plays every snap, so he's got more opportunities. So another one I like looking at this is snaps per splash play, or splash plays per snaps, I guess is the better way to look at that. Nick's 5th. You got this Buffalo defensive tackle, Jack Sawyer in Pittsburgh, who's actually been playing well. Donovan something, that edge rusher in Dallas, and then Jalen Walker. The Falcons guy are all ahead of him. But Nick's delivering a splash play every 22 snaps. That's a better rate than the linebacker in the Browns, who's at 24. So, I mean, he's right there. I think the splash plays are going to help, though, with the voters getting picks, you know, get some more TFLs. I think, like, Nick, when you know what he needs, Chris, Nick's just got to make an impact on a play that leads to a touchdown. And I think like, particularly if it happens in that Thursday night game or the season finale, but like Thursday night football, he like strips Stafford and like, and Chenna runs it in. I feel like that's just going to skyrocket. I feel like he's entering the conversation now because the splash plays are starting to generate now. So Nick's got sack and a half, 2 quarterback hits, 5 tackles for loss, 9 PBUs, his first pick. I mean, it's coming together. It's coming together quite a bit. Nick leads all rookies in PBUs or passes defense. Like he's got the pick. He's let's see, in terms of TFLs, he's 5th. So I mean, he's there. He's right there. I still think the Browns guy's got a pretty good lead because he's got more like just total raw plays where he's had a chance to make impact. But yeah, Nick's right there. I think it's just that Thursday night game, or just if he scores a touchdown or something like that. But like, make some splash plays for those voters when they're all watching on Amazon on Thursday night in Week 16. That'll really get them in the combo because no one's watching the Browns. They just unless it's Shador's on the field. That's it. No one's watching the Browns defense unless they're just looking at Myles Garrett sack highlights at the end of the game.
This next one is from Matt. What's the likelihood of Rick Woolen, as we just talked about him not too long ago, being a Seahawk long term?
Okay, Chris, let's ignore the numbers for a second. Scale of 1 to 10, where you at on the likelihood?
5.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I really feel like it's an ongoing audition, really, because I more so than any other player whose contract is up. Like everyone else, I could probably tell you definitively. For instance, Ken, they refuse to give him any goal line carries. It's hard for me to imagine they want him that is coming because that's just ridiculous. Like today was just an insane sequence. They go heavy on the goal line. They put Ken in, they put the heavies in, and then they throw it. And they take Ken right out and they run it to Zach and he loses yards. I forget what the third down play was, but I think it was Jackson's touchdown. I was just like, oh yeah, they don't want this guy around. Like for the long term. There's just no way. So like I feel pretty good about that. I feel pretty good about that. That he'll probably have to either take a huge discount or play somewhere else. Kobe feel real good about. Derek feel good about like the decision, by the way. When I say good about, not that they'll be here. Josh Jobe feel real confident he'll be back. So I'm pretty much mostly decided on just about everybody whose contract is up. Shaheed as well, for what that's worth. Reek's the only one where I'm like, I have no idea. It really feels like every game. It's like every game is like, he coming back? He not. Because as well as he plays, then the price goes up. And don't let Reek play well in the playoffs.
Not to mention, Job is playing fine. He's playing good ball. That's why they're rotating, because both of them are playing fine football. And Reek has had his issues. So Mike McDonald's like, it'll be a weekly process. Who wins the job? Pretty much. And Reek's confidence, he's not feeling that way. You see Reek, he's strapping up on the field. No passes for here.
Played great today, yeah.
So he believes he's one of the top premier corners in this league. The players believe it too. He just has to show more action. And if he can show more action in the next 4 games, I think that bodes well for him. But I'll still be at it. And the playoffs too. That's true as well. But I still think they're going to look at all the negative plays per se and be like, yeah, man, we would love to pay you top dollar, but you've had in your career too many times where you give up something that you shouldn't. As someone with your caliber of skill set, speed, and all of that, I think sometimes you just aren't that guy that we need you to be. So we're not going to pay you $27 million a year to play a corner. I'm sorry. That's just not going to be the situation that he's going to be in. But another team will definitely pay him whatever he wants. So I'm still going to be at a 5. It'll be interesting to see how the season ends for the Seahawks and what happens with Rick Woolen, because I think he's a huge piece of this defense. But I understand the way Josh Jobe is playing. You got Devin Witherspoon looking great. There's no reason why I don't think your starting corners next year could be Jobe and Witherspoon with Nicky Manwari as a nickel.
Yeah, they could. Or Rick too.
Week 2.
It just depends. I think the playoffs are going to matter quite a bit there because, like, we've seen the playoffs just go totally different for guys than we expect. Rick's playoff game didn't go well after a really good rookie year. Somebody else had a really not good playoff. Shaquille. Shaquille had a really bad playoff game in Dallas. You remember that? Dak just kept throwing through it like 10 times in the first half. Shaquille's a really good player, but like you see, he had a good rookie year, had a good second year, and then it got to his first playoff game. And them lights are different. So we'll see how guys perform in the playoffs.
Also, I forgot to mention, Phillip was one of the other folks that was curious about Nicky Manwari's status for Rookie of the Year. And then I'll just throw this in there because it's about Nick Manwari. What more can the Seahawks ask him to do?
Well, Well, this could be a longer question. I do think that he's got to. I still think he's got to work on when he needs to go backwards. That's a lot of guys. It reminds me a little bit of Jamal, too, where it's like when you actually when come forward, it's great. Go backwards, it can be a dicey proposition, and we see he's still growing. I think the last 2 weeks have been a perfect example of just like it's still growth. Which is why Mike McDonald doesn't like sing his praises too much, probably because he sees all these plays on tape too. But not even diving into the tape. 2 examples. Chris knows he watched the tape, but you also can see it on the games. That rep he had against Justin Jefferson last week, outstanding in the slot, turning, locating the ball, making a play on it. Great. The rep he had against Kyle Pitts today is the exact opposite. That's a great throw and catch by Kyle Pitts for what it's worth. But also, Nick turned his head super early, lost control of the receiver. He lost the receiver and the ball. Big no-no. And gave up a 30-yard bomb. Now, I forget what happened on that drive. But so I mean, it's still growing. Because that's where teams are going to try him next. And you see they're already doing it. Did it last week with Justin, did it today with Kyle Pitts. That's gonna be where these guys go. They're gonna be like, all right, if 3's not blitzing, 3 being Nicky Moore's number, if 3's not blitzing, he's probably manned up in coverage. Let's put the ball near him. Maybe they get burned by it. We'll see. But I think if you just ask me to pick a thing to improve, that's the thing. That if I'm an offensive coordinator, I was playing the Seahawks. Like there's a few ways I would attack them, and some teams are doing it. But that would be one. It's like, all right, probably shouldn't throw at 27. Probably shouldn't throw at 29. If I don't have time to throw a deep ball, so where can I go? I'd probably throw it at Nick, particularly if he's in man. So he clearly can do it. You see that rep with Justin Jefferson, but you see that rep from Kyle Pitts today. It's like, okay, well, maybe we can get him if the ball is perfect like that ball was today.
This next one is from Doug Baldwin. Is the light the way? Is it an oversimplification to say that Sam Darnold's troubles with turnovers stem directly from him not keeping it simple? It's like he's trying to get big numbers instead of just managing the game. Or am I crazy?
No, it's not. He's had some fluky ones, but part of it is just holding on to the ball. Legitimately just holding on to. He's fumbled a few times that other teams have recovered. So I mean that's part of it. No, he has the same. I'm calling it issue, but it's not an issue. You'll see how I explain. He has the same issue as Geno Smith, where they keep their eyes down the field, right? So that's great sometimes because you can have an explosive offense when your quarterback trusts his reads, trusts his feet, trusts his eyes, trusts his arms, and keeps his eyes downfield and just maneuvers in the pocket. Great. And then sometimes the problem with that is you're holding out for a big play. Like, hold on. If I just have half a second, I can get such a. Well, no, you don't have that half a second. Now you're sacked. Or you don't have that. Now your arm is hit and the ball comes out funky. Or in the case of today, on the interception, Sam has his eyes down the field. Well, if he drops his eyes and runs, he has a first down. Or if he drops his eyes and sees K9 standing to his left and just shovels it to him, it's a first down. But that's the playmaker in Sam. He's like, I got to look downfield. That same attitude is how he saw Jackson Smith and Jigba for a 43-yarder or whatever against the Cardinals at home. Rolling left, had other options underneath. I think he had Cup underneath. No, I want the big shot to Jax, and he threw it, and it was a great play. So I mean, it's Geno was the same way. Geno would stand there and this little curl route's open to Noah Fant, but also Tyler's on his post. So if I get it over to safety, we got 40-yard bomb for a touch. And Geno trusts his arm to go make that throw. Sam does the same thing, and that's the good and the bad of both quarterbacks, which is why they can have seasons where they have a lot of turnovers as well. I think that's part of its play style. And I think the second part of that is I don't have the numbers right in front of me to bear that out, but also they are too reliant on Sam to make explosives. So I can see why he feels the need to generate them because they're not really getting any explosive runs. They're not an explosive run team at all. Like you said earlier, Chris, it'd be nice if Ken get in the end zone. He's going to have to do it from 20 yards out because he doesn't get the ball in the red zone. And when he does, no one blocks for him. There was a play today. It won't be on our standout plays. But let's see if you remember this, Chris. Ken had a run. He ends up bouncing it outside. I think it's in the first half. Bounces it outside and gets 8 yards out of bounds. And I was like, I forget who was sitting next to me. They're like, oh, wow, good run. And then I was looking, I was like, why doesn't anybody like Ken? Because if you look on that play, and they showed it on the replay too, Jackson just runs his route and blocks no one. So then the safety and AJ Terrell had just a clean shot at Ken. Thankfully, he made both of them miss and got to the outside. But it's like their run game is so much of just like, and you know this from watching the tape too. It's like, why didn't insert player block anybody? You know, you showed Cup blocking his own guy a couple weeks ago. Like their run game is so weird that it you can't get explosives really. They had one today on the Zach run. It feels like that's part of it with Sam too. Now he probably won't admit that or say that, but I imagine he feels that. Like we're only getting explosives if I throw it deep. We're not getting any screens for explosives. God damn, I almost text Chris like 5 times today about bad screens to start the game. That was the worst opening drive Kubiak's ever had. They can't get screen passes. They're getting very rare explosive runs. So how else do you generate explosives? You got to throw it deep. And I feel like Sam is feeling a little bit of that. And the play calling kind of reflects it too, because Kubiak can't do nothing else but after Sam throw deep if they want to generate explosives.
No, very good points there. This next one is from RG Seattle. How did the Seahawks go from scoring 6 in the first to 31 in the second? And is that sustainable going forward?
Well, Chris, I feel like the easy answer to this is you throw the ball to Jax.
That's the only answer. It literally just, hey, you see number 11? He's him. Give him the football. Good things happen. Oh, what do you know? 14 points from Jackson Smith and Jigba. Oh, you also get a kick return. If my math serves me right, that's 21. So that solves more than half of your problem right there.
Yeah, I'm looking up a number to kind of support what I was just saying. Let's see. So the Seahawks are 15th in explosive run rate. So it's not bad. 6.9%, it's a smidge below the league average. So I mean they're okay at getting explosive runs, but they are number 2 in explosive passes, right? So they're generating most of their explosives. I feel like at least the ones that are meaningful through their passing game. So yeah, they got to fix that. But yeah, I mean that's the easy answer. Throw it to Jax. That is their explosive offense. It's throwing it to Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's really great that Shaheed got involved today. A 33-yarder was great, but it's throwing to Jax. He's the cheat code. He's the guy. That's it. Is that sustainable? Depends on who they're playing. Is that sustainable in the first round of the playoffs? Probably. Is it sustainable in the second round? Probably not. Probably need some Shaheed explosives in there. Because you can see also, I feel like this game was an example of one of them was a kick return, but Shaheed's explosiveness is how you take the Seahawks to the next level. You can't just rely on Jax every week to generate all the explosives. You know, I think Cup had one today as well. So Shaheed had one as well. But Jax is the real killer. But killers need help. Once Jax gets some help, it's curtains for the other team stopping these guys. It really is. But you gotta, yeah. Today we really just throw the ball to Jax should be straight. Particularly throw the ball and play action. They hit Jax on like 2 play action crossers and the game was over. They're 20-6. I was like, these guys ain't scoring 20 points. And scored 3 points after that. So yeah, that was it's sustainable and it's not, I guess. But I think we all know that if you play the Rams, you're gonna need someone else to deliver explosives other than Jax.
This next one is from Miller Muse. This is a crucial stretch coming up for the Seahawks, all against some top teams. Do you think they might try to get Darnold to start using his legs more, or you can see the Hawks losing some of these games because Darnold's struggling and he's not making some good decisions?
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting today. Chris mentioned that he should have ran, and then in the second on the pick, he should have ran, and then he started running a little bit in the second half and made some good decisions when he ran. And then Greg Bell asked him today, he was like, "Would you do anything different on the interception?" And he was like, "Well, I'd probably just put it on him. Put it on him, meaning he'd throw a better ball, like you were saying, lead Elijah, so he can go get that ball." And that was interesting. I thought Sam was going to say he should have run. Maybe he'll say it after he watches the tape. But I felt like he learned the wrong lesson from that play. Just personally, I just feel like he should have just took off, like just run. Sam's a good athlete. Somehow maybe it's just my Twitter algorithm, but that like 40-yard touchdown run he had when he was with the Jets, I think it was on like Thursday Night Football against the Broncos years ago. where he makes like a few guys miss. It showed up on my timeline. And I was like, yeah, that's right. Sam's good. He's like a really high level athlete. He's just white. So people don't associate him with being like a running quarterback, but he can really boogie. So I just feel like he should do that more often, because I also feel like he'll know how to protect himself. It's not like Jackson Dart right now, who just thinks he's a bowling pin with a helmet on. No, Sam don't want to take no hits, so he won't. I thought he made really good decisions today when he was out in space. So not to say he's got to have 5 carries a game or something like that, but I just think he needs to feel more confident using his legs if the alternative is forcing a ball. Because he really should have thrown a pick against the Titans in a very similar scenario as today. Like, it was almost the exact same scenario. The pick today was basically the Titans goal line play from 2 or 3 weeks ago. The difference is the ball just happened to bounce to a Falcon today, and it didn't bounce to anyone in the Titans game. But it was the same idea. You should have run. You didn't. You threw it across your body. It got batted. You can't keep doing that. And hopefully he learns from that process and realizes, yeah, man, sometimes just run out of bounds, bro. A 3-yard scramble is better than an interception every time. And that was 3rd and 1 he threw it on today too. Like, hopefully Sam learns that lesson from the tape.
This next one is from, I want to say it could be Kieran or Siran. I'm going to go with Kieran. The blueprint for Kubiak offense into the playoffs was perhaps run the ball just enough that the defense has to respect the run, opening it up for JSN and or Shaheed to become more of a threat later in the game. Is that how you see it?
It's weird. I feel weird being so nitpicky about an offense that scores so many points, but I do just feel like they're not having the type of. I feel like the running game should be more dominant. Like, if you're really going to be mimicking like the Shanahan style of offense, you should be able to run it better than they are, because they operate like a running team. They get under center. They use 12 personnel. They use Robbie Oots. Like, they've not totally killed all the toss plays, but they're getting better about doing other runs, and it's just not hitting like it should. And I just don't like it. I don't. Like today, let's see. Ken had 10 for 29. Yuck. Zach had 7 for 46, which is really good. It helps that he had the 27-yarder in there, because then on his next 6 carries, he got 19 yards. So it's just not great. But overall, it just doesn't feel like they have the right level of. It doesn't feel like they've ever won a game because they ran the ball well. It just doesn't have, like, compare that to example, Chris. You watched any of the Rams game today?
I didn't see it, no.
Okay, so they have the Falcons press box. I love it. It has these little screens that are about the size of an iPad right there in the for everybody's seat. So it went straight to Red Zone or Fox or whatever game was on. I'm watching that game, and there's another one with the Bears game on. I'm looking. I'm like, this is what the Seahawks need to do. I don't know. I didn't know the numbers until right now. I have them in front of me. I'm like, that's the type of game I want to see the Seahawks have on the ground. Blake Corum had 128 yards today. Kyron Williams had 13 carries for 84 yards today. Like, I don't really care what this Rivers guy did, because that was probably garbage time. But like, they need to be able to do one of those. Like, just where Sam don't gotta air it out for them to get explosives, and just haven't had that. Now it looks like Puka also went crazy today too, but yeah, I just feel like they haven't had that game yet where I'm like, that's the running game. It's been flashes and some positive steps, but it hasn't been one of those like, okay, like the Niners used to have, where it's like, oh my God, Raheem Mostert went crazy. Oh, shoots. The Matt Breida done gone off. Christian McCaffrey gone nuts. Like, they haven't, Jordan Mason done went crazy. They just haven't had that. I feel like they should have that. That's how you mitigate Sam not having any turnovers. Have a game where you run it for 200 yards. I bet you he won't turn it over then.
Got a few more. This next one is from Eric Wall. Is there a wide receiver out there right now that you would put ahead of JSN for first team All-Pro?
Oh, no shot. No shot. This feels like a numbers time. Ready for some receiving numbers, Chris? Because this boy, Jax. So Jackson has 89 catches for 1,428 yards and 9 touchdowns. So for a minute there, Jax was just like yardage guy and not scoring as much relative to his peers. But so not only is he, let's see, he is 200 and some change above Puka for number 2. So Puka has 1,186 yards, which is outstanding. But Think about that. He is 200 plus short of Jax. Just ridiculous. Puka has 6 touchdowns. Jax has 9. There's only one guy with more touchdowns than Jax. It's Devontae.
Adams. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Devontae has 14. So catching him, God bless. But that's incredible. Like Jax is what he's doing right now, scoring, like being efficient with his routes. Let's see, what's his yards per route right now? Oh, Chris, this is ungodly. 4.08 per route. That would be the best in like a decade.
Explain that for those that are like, what does that even mean?
Okay, thank you. I will do that. So it's basically every time. How often are you on? It's your yardage on a per route basis, which I like more than like yards per catch. And also just factors in what type of offense you're in, because people call like a pass heavy, like, oh, look how often this team throws it. Okay, how often that team throws it is fine. How often are you out there when they throw it? That's important. If you're the number 4 receiver on a pass heavy offense, who cares? You're the number 1 receiver on a run heavy offense. It can balance out, right? So, like the Seahawks are a pretty run heavy offense. So, but when they do throw, Jax is out there running routes. It's part of the concepts there. And so I'm gonna put that number in historical context. So True Media only has data back to 2000, right? So since 2000, the leaders in yards per route run, this would be the best yards per route season. So, for instance, Calvin Johnson was just out of his freaking mind in 2012. He was at 7 yards per route, because that doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't really know how he was doing that.
That 300 yards must have gave him some boosties, but nonetheless, that's still incredible.
Yeah, what he was doing back then, that just didn't that didn't make any sense. He's a created player. That's just not real. But like you go back to, I mean, even Tyreek here. Let me pull up. For instance, I'll give you Cooper Kupp's Triple Crown season. Cooper Kupp's Triple Crown season, he averaged, I think it's 3.1. So he averaged 3.1 the year he won the Triple Crown yards per route. Jax is at 4, a little over 4 flat. Like, come on, man. Like the year Chad Johnson, your boy Ocho, had 1440 in 2007, yards per route, 4.04. Like, Jax is getting up there with some pretty special seasons in the NFL. Like, this is pretty special stuff. What we're witnessing. What we are witnessing. I don't know why I can't talk today. Last one I'll give you a reference for. Randy Moss, 4.5 in 07.
All right, we'll move on.
Yeah. So I mean, Jax is a beast, man. He's there is nobody better in the NFL right now. It's not even close.
Zach drops in. Clearly, this is the best team, Seahawks wise, since 2014 or 15. Do you think they can avoid the internal issues that broke up the LOB era teams?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You can avoid that. If Russ doesn't throw a pick at the goal line, be okay. Well, I also think that, without diving too much into revisiting the history, I think that there were very unique circumstances that broke that team up. It wasn't just the interception. It was who threw it, who didn't get the ball when they threw it. Marshawn's standing in the locker room, how Marshawn felt about Russ, how other guys felt about Russ, how Pete treated Russ relative to everyone else. Like, I don't just think you'll ever get those issues again because they were so unique. They ultimately boiled down to like jealousy, a little bit of envy, resentment, and pettiness. Like those emotions can all come up in different forms on a new team. But they won't be like that. That was very, very, very unique. Like Russ was such a unique guy. Guys felt so strongly about him. There were guys who were like, I hate his guts. There were some guys like, oh, I love that dude. Some guys were like, I don't care. As long as he shows up and plays well and works hard, you guys are tripping. So Russ was a little all over the place. Sam, not so much. I don't think there are as many outward egos on this team. Like there were so many guys who were like, I'm the best at what I do. Bobby thought he was the best linebacker. Marshawn thought he was the best running back. Doug thought he was the best receiver. Russ thought he was the best quarterback. Mike B, Cliff, Sherm, Cam, Earl. Like everyone thought they were the best. And it doesn't feel like there's just not that same element, I don't think. I feel like a lot of guys think they are underrated, but just like arrogantly like, oh, I'm the best. I don't think that. I think there's like Jax very clearly thinks he's the best receiver in the league. Good for him. Like today he scored on AJ Terrell and said he can't guard me because he can't. Chris, we were talking about how guys, teams are going for it on 4th and 1 and running on 3rd and 1 against the Seahawks. Like, I don't know why teams are like, yeah, let's just have such and such shadow Jackson Smith and Jigba. When has that ever worked? That has just never worked. Poor AJ Terrell. So yeah, I mean, Jax operates that way, but even the way he goes about it is real humble. You know, Jax said last week, he was like, I play better when I'm playing for other people, you know, and that's just not like typical wide receiver. I'm better than everyone behavior. So no, I think that the only way they would really fall apart in terms of like interpersonal stuff is if multiple guys got too big headed and or just started hating Sam Darnold. And then I don't think that'll happen. I think Sam's a pretty likable guy. Even if you get to the point where like I don't think he'll get us to the Super Bowl, you're not gonna hate him. Like they hated Russ, certain guys. So I think they'll be okay. I think, yeah, their brotherhood is not as strong as Legion of Boom, but it's also no one hates anyone as much as guys hated Russ in that locker room. So they'll be all right.
Got 2 more. This one is from our guy Ryan Turner. Who's your newcomer of the year? Unsung belt wearer. Guy who needs to change his numbers so we can recognize their skills better. Keep killing it.
Who do you think for that last one? I'm not really sure.
That's a tough one. I guess I would go. I mean, he's playing good. I don't want to say that he needs to change his number, but he could change his number if that makes sense. So give me Drake Thomas. I feel like 42 is just such a boring number, and he's having a good season, by the way. So I don't know what number he could wear, but yeah, number 42, you just look at it and go, yuck. For me, I'm sorry, Drake, if you ever hear or see this, you're balling, but that number could you be 24? I don't think anyone's 24 in the Seahawks, right? Now that I think about it.
Yeah, they've been a little sparse with giving out 24 since Marshawn retired. They have given it out, what it's worth.
Oh, that's true.
But I mean, they easily could do it. I don't think anyone's 24 right now. They got Shaquille wears 24 right now.
Great. Okay. Well, I'm not going to play the numbers game and try to figure out what number you should wear. But in terms of the question, a guy needs to change his number. So it'll pop. I think it would be him at number 42. What you got, Mike?
I think Spoon should wear a single digit number. I think that I feel like it would he'd be. Because it does feel like because we watched the tape, it feels like Spoon is just like popping every week. He just don't get the ball.
No, that's
great ball and I feel like if he was number one, who's number one right now?
Wasn't it Kendricks? But he's waived, right?
Darian Kendrick came here and got number one.
I'm pretty sure he was number one.
Oh,
I'm almost
okay.
positive.
Then yes, they don't have a number one. Oh, Spoon should change tomorrow. I'm gonna ask him about that. Yeah, he should change. No, people probably bought Spoon jerseys, so that'd be mean. But yeah, he should be switch to number one and start wearing a visor. I just feel like he'd get more love. I just can't explain why that makes sense in my head, but trust me, guys, it does. I just want Spoon to just get more love there.
Who is your unsung belt wearer? I got my guy. Who's your guy?
Okay, you go first because I'm still undecided about this as well.
I'll go Jay Reed. I think it's obvious. This is one of the veterans that was around years ago, and he is keeping this bunch together. And he comes up big on Sunday against the Falcons, creates a fumble that the Seahawks recover. I think you just look at from the D line up, I think he's just a big part of the defense, and he means a lot. He might not play the same amount of snaps that he used to, but when he does, it's impactful. And I think, again, he is that leader guy. He might not rah-rah in the huddle or anything, but I know when it comes down to executing and playing your best football, I know he's on every single guy, and he's on relying on them to be their best in the big moments. Every moment, honestly, but yeah, that's where I'm going with
so you're going with Jay Reed?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Jay Reed is their like break down the huddle guy. So he is rah-rah guy, but you're right. He's also all those other things.
He is? Okay. Got
as
it.
well. Yeah. He's their he gives like the same speech every time, but it's good though. And I can't quote any of it because it
lot
has
of
too much
profanity.
profanity. Yeah, but it's basically let's dominate today. Let's run and F and hit. That's basically it's a short and sweet, but it's like you said, it's impactful. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go with Kobe. I had a few options on this, but I just really think maybe because I just watched so much tapes, like Kobe is playing some really high level ball, very similar to Spoon, where the ball is just not finding them, but they are just playing some great stuff. Again, if you are curious about how Kobe is playing, sit there, close your eyes, and say, when's the last time I saw a seam or a post thrown on the Seahawks? That's the best way to do it. I remember Quandre would tell me all the times, like, no seams, no posts. And you do that as the you're called the post safety, and it's just like I don't think I've seen one since week 5, the Emeka Ibuka one. Like it's just rock solid stuff. He's tackling really well. I know he's really hard on himself that he did not pick up Spoon's fumble or the fumble that Jay Reed forced that Spoon grabbed. Because I was like, why Kobe look so upset? They have the ball. And then I watched the replay and I was like, oh, because he let the ball roll right under him. And that's how Spoon got it. But that's his mindset, though. Like, obviously, he's really happy for Spoon. But he's like, I should have made that play because that's the play I'm supposed to make, So, like, yeah, he's been playing good ball. I thought he really stabilized the secondary when they were going through all those changes. If you wonder how they were like, oh wow, they put in Darion Kendrick in and Ty Okada and Nehemiah Pritchett and Shaquille and they're still playing okay. Part of that is because they could trust what was going on with number 8 on the back end. There was like, we're good. They throw it over our heads. 8's there, except for literally that one time he wasn't for Nehemiah against the Bucks. That was it, and that just hasn't happened since. So, but yeah, my guy would be Kobe. Who's the last one on this?
Newcomer? Yeah, that's a fun one. I'll go with the big fat man. Give me Gray Zabel out here. He's having a really good rookie season. I know people probably were like, Gray Zabel? I mean, no one ever says his name during the game. There's a reason for that. He's doing some fabulous things on the O-line, whether it's pass pro or getting up there and playing, doing some really good job in that run zone scheme that they're doing. It hasn't been as successful as they wanted to, but just going back and watching Gray, he's had a really strong season.
Let's see here. I will go with I'm struggling with this one too. Because I really feel like we would be too much of assholes if one of us didn't pick Sam because of the way he is playing.
He was my second option, to be honest,
okay.
But I figured you might take him.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go with Sam. As much as we were just hard on him about the turnovers, like I do think he's playing good ball. I think he's playing to the level I expected, to be honest. Like when people were not to toot our own horn, but people kept tweeting us earlier in the year, like, when are you guys gonna be like, we should have kept we did the right thing. We got rid of Gino, got Sam. It's like, I don't know, man. I feel like both of these guys in the same they're still both of them are operating largely like the same guy. Gino playing a little worse, but Sam's playing about what I thought Sam would do. It's like, yeah, you make some good throws, and then you might give it to the other team and play bad. But in general, I think Sam is leading the right way. I think he's making a lot of plays. Talked about it with his drop back EPA. He's a very explosive player. And also, I like that he did what Gino did as well that Russ did not do, is he gets up there and he lies. Or there's obviously another part of the play that's someone else's fault. And he's just like, hey, I got to do X better. Like especially even like from week 1, Abe just gets beat by Nick Bosa. What does Sam say? I got to get rid of the ball faster. I mean, dog, it was a tick and a half. You didn't have no time to get rid of the ball. But that's not the point. The point is, say it. You gain nothing by saying Abe's got to hold his block longer. Even if we can all see that, Sam gains nothing from saying that. And there's been so many instances each week where, yeah, Sam did a bad thing, but really it was probably someone else's fault, and it's like, I'll eat that. I'll wear it. Even when I know that's the other guy is the problem, So I think that's important. It was important when Gino was doing it. It was important when Sam's doing it. Guys didn't like that. Russ didn't do that. They were like, dude, why are you up here selling your Wheaties boxes, bro? You just do 4 picks. Give us some credit on defense, So like, a shout out to Sam for that. I think he'd be my choice for newcomer. It was really tough between him and D-Law, but I'll go with the quarterback.
Last one comes from Justin Dunnacliffe. Mike, process during games. What kind of notes do you take throughout? Are you just taking notes, or do you start writing your article as you're watching?
Good question. I was gonna pull out my notepad. I'll pull out my notepad. Here, do I have it? Yeah, here we go. Actually, I remembered to bring my notepad to the game. I forgot it last game. I had to ask Dave Bowling, spokesman review, to let me borrow his. So you guys can see this is my main sheet for my people on YouTube. I track the game itself. Like it looks like scribbles, but it really is. Like I chart every play. I chart personnels all in real time. So like, as the Seahawks have the ball, I chart what yard line they're on, who's in the game, like when they're rotating. That's how I know who's rotating. When they had Ty Okada in, for instance, what personnel they're in, I can tell you that like the holding call Robbie Oots got was an under center snap from 21 personnel. Ken ran it which direction for how many yards, blah, blah, blah. So I chart all that. I used to, and that helps me frame the game. And that helps me also know who's making plays. I chart who tackles who gets a TFL, and then if someone makes a play that won't show up, I write that down as well. Like I'll usually just write their number and I'll put a square over it if you did good, circle over it if you got beat. That also helps me go back and find like that's how like I can chart alignment and be like, Anthony Bradford was fine. I don't have any 75s, for instance. Then when you guys all yell at us about 75s sucking, which no one asked about him today, by the way. I can tell like you guys are kind of tripping. 75 did okay. So that's like general day by like play-by-play charts. And then I'll take some notes on my computer for a little bit. But if you guys notice on The Athletic, they have us do like these like takeaways that go up pretty quickly after the game. So any like running thoughts I have during the game, I mostly just throw in there. Because those are due as soon as the game ends before I even go to the locker room. So I make sure I have those done first. My actual story that you guys read, these things are like 1,300, 1,400 words. A lot of these times now, I didn't do this as much in my career earlier. But now, honestly, I may have like 3 sentences of the story written when I come back up from the locker room. I don't really do a lot of pre-writing. I like to just go down there with a blank head because I know I got time. Let the quotes and the scenes talk to me. Sometimes I'll have a moment that I'll write down like from the field. But most I let the quotes talk to me. And then once I'm done with everything, when I'm leaving the locker room, I usually put my headphones in, listen to some of my audio, and then I'll take notes during my audio, like, oh man, go back and listen to that Ernest clip at 1 minute. That was really good. Or sometimes I'll do that and the audio sucks. Like I did that today for somebody. I was like, oh, that was good. Got to the elevator, listened to it. I was like, he gave me nothing. So it depends. But yeah, I usually come back up to the press box, sit down, and I got nothing. I just got pizza in one hand and about 2 sentences, and I just roll. It just starts flowing out. I'm a pretty fast writer. From what I've been told, I'm one of the faster NFL writers that we have in terms of beat writers. So my process works. Playoffs probably won't be like that because I got to get it out a little faster. But yeah, that's like a little snippet of how that works. I pretty much just take a lot of like notes, and then because I took notes, I know who to focus on, what sequence to focus on, and what players, who's killing it. Yeah, so that's generally how I go about it.
There it is. Well, look, that's all the questions, voicemails, Twitter, Blue Sky. We appreciate all the love and support. Make sure you cop that book. Mike has a brand new book out. Mike, go ahead and plug that.
That's Curated History of the Legion of Boom Era. Is available wherever books are sold. But if you want to sign one from me, whether you live in Seattle or do not, even if you live out of the country, I got charged for that. But if you live outside of the country, you can get a book from me. Just DM me, DM our Seahawks Man to Man account. My DMs are open on everything. Our DMs are open there until on Instagram. Let me know. I'll get you set up on how you can do that. Again, even if you're outside of the country, we're shipping a bunch to the UK this week. At least one to Sweden, one to Mexico, one to Canada. So like we're shipping them out, baby. And if you're at a game, just hit me up. I'll bring your copy to the game, signed. We can meet, take a flick, whatever you want to do. So I appreciate the love. Again, shout out to Brent Tanaka and Kyrie, who I met at the game today. Appreciate that love. Nice to meet you, gentlemen. And yeah, keep supporting the book.
There it is. We will catch you guys later with One Big Thing and our preview of the Seahawks versus Colts. And then, of course, on Friday morning, you guys will have our standout plays. We'll go back over the film, pick some of the plays that stood out to us, and break that down for you guys. Other than that, Mike, is there anything you want to add?
Appreciate the love and support, y'all. And enjoy your week. We'll catch you guys later in the week. Peace.